Yes, recording. All right. So welcome you guys to our 2018 Wow Wednesday. It's our first one of the year, and I'm just so excited to see your faces. It's been, I think, a whole month since we've had a Zoom. So way too long, but I think it's safe to say that we are all, hold on, I'm going to make sure I'm muting everybody. Oh, I got it. Okay. I think it's safe to say that we're all excited for a new year. Fresh calendar. Everybody's posting their one word. Everybody's just excited for that reset for 2018. And that's me every season, every quarter, every new season, fresh start, fresh calendar, wanting to set those goals. And I think setting goals, making resolutions, that is a big part of the new year every time. But thankfully in this business, a lot of you on here that have been around for even a few months, we get good at goal setting, right? We get good at quarterly goals and monthly goals, but there's a process to it. There's a little bit more to it and skills than just putting them down and hoping for the best. And there's some foundations that you got to lay and things you got to think about and mindsets to get right. And that's what I want to talk about tonight a little bit, and laying that groundwork. We could talk all month long about goal setting. There's blogs and workshops all over social media that you've probably seen about goals, and we're going to touch on that a lot on PFDT this month. But tonight, Krista and Lee and myself, we're just going to touch on a few basic foundation principles that have worked for us, that have proved successful for so many, and just some nuggets that you can take and kind of apply to every area of your life, okay? Because we want to get you guys excited for this year. We are so excited for so many exciting things coming down the pike for our company, but just for our team. And we just want that for y'all. So I'm going to get us started by sharing our screen. Give me just a sec. Okay. And I'm going to start us off with my favorite quote by Tony Robbins. I'm sure most of you have seen this, but this really hit home with me a couple of years ago when I first saw it. Change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And I think this is the place so many of us are at because we hate change. We get stuck in that complacent place of playing small and not even letting ourselves dream bigger for ourselves, for our families, just making those goals that we actually believe that we can get to, hit those goals, hit those fitness goals, hit our business goals, hit financial goals. So I think just knowing that that's when that change is going to happen. So if you feel stuck, you got to get to that place of wanting to get in a better place. So to do that, we got to establish a better mindset. Before we ever do goals, guys, we have to get our mind right. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Those are those foundations before we even get to that part. And I'm going to touch on seeking clarity, owning your mindset instead of your mindset owning you, and raising your energy to meet you where you want to go. Okay, so that's what I'm basically talking about tonight. I heard someone say the other day, and it kind of stung a little bit. They said people plan their vacations with better care than they plan their lives and they plan their year out. Maybe that's because people care more about how to create an escape than they care about creating a change. And I thought, isn't that so true? In every area. There's so many things that I don't pay attention to, or I don't plan on purpose, or I don't dig into and don't try to get better at because I'm fearful. I don't want to look deeper into it. I don't like who I am in that area, so I avoid it, right? And I think if we would just dive in head first and change our mindset about it, we could get so much further. So go ahead and get your notebooks out. You can take notes. I don't want you to be scared on the next slide. I wrote everything out, but I'm going to be posting all of this tomorrow in the PFDT team page because I'm going to do a fun little giveaway centered around this. So it'll be there tomorrow. I'll touch on that in a second. But just know you don't have to write all of this down. But these are, this is a little bit of the process that I want you guys to take away tonight. A little homework to kind of get your mind right before you start setting those goals. Okay, so the first step is to reflect and take stock. I want you to ask yourself and look at yourself in 2017. How did you perceive yourself last year with your spouse or your children, if applicable, with your friendships, with your business, your health and fitness, your spiritual life, your, the way you interacted with strangers, the way you served, the way you took care of yourself? Like how did you perceive yourself? And what kind of energy did you bring? You know, we have those areas, y'all, that we are struggling with. There's no shame in your game. I have at least 3 that I can think of. When you rate yourself, because I want you guys to rate yourself, maybe 1 through 10, 10 being, you know, you don't need to change anything, or I'm sorry, that you're not, you know, 10 that you don't need to change anything, and a 1 that you know, you're on the struggle bus. So I want you to rate yourself in each area so that you can get clear and focused on specific spots you want to focus on first. And Chris is going to touch a little bit on that, because you can't jump in on everything and overhaul it all. But really think, what energy did you bring to these areas? And then I want you to leave some space below each area. You can pick whatever areas you want, all the areas, and then get clear and create a vision for what energy you want to bring. Is this how, you know, how do you want to see yourself in the future in these areas? You got to get clear on that, you guys. I want you to think, how do you want your future self to act? How do you want your future self to look, to behave differently? What energy do you want to bring? You know, even down to when my kids come home from homework, that's my time of day when I'm grouchy. I've given it all to everyone else. And that's exactly when I have to set that intention to change and say, I'm going to show up at homework time, you know, and give it my all and be patient and not be grouchy and, you know, be intentional, because otherwise we're just kind of, you know, living without intention. We're not bringing that energy to the things that matter. And this includes your business. This includes what you bring to your attitude about just taking care of yourself with learning about the products, taking the products, making the right, you know, choices, believing that you can do what you need to do to get your business off the ground. So that's the first 2 things. Rating yourself, you know, really take time to do this, you guys, because it takes that time to dig deep. Just a few moments. It doesn't take that long, but I want you to take some time to kind of put that in your planner, put that in your journal. And I'm going to divert just for a second and talk about energy and mindset, and I'm going to be looking at my notes. But guys, if your life doesn't look the way you want it to look, then the energy you're putting out is too low. If you believe, whatever you believe is going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is just the way it works. And we're like a thermostat. If you want to become a different person, you want to bring different energy to all the areas in your life, you want to achieve those goals, you have got to set that thermostat differently. You've got to get your subconscious mind to raise up to what you're thinking and work for you, okay? We've got to reset our thermostat and teach it how to think differently. That's what personal growth is. And that's what we leaders in this team, we strive for, and we plug y'all into that all month long, each and every month. There's no shortage of personal growth and development, guys, but that's what that is. And what kind of person do you want to become in the process? You have to raise your expectations up. What's the difference between where you think you should be right now and where you are? Okay, because that's the gap you have to work on. And if you find yourself in that season of not having enough motivation to reach that goal, if you're not keeping promises to yourself, if you're not keeping promises to others, if you're not getting rid of those bad habits or invoking the good habits, if you don't have the energy and courage to do the things you know you're supposed to do, or do things that are scary, that's, you know, if you're not where you want to be, there's not enough difference in what's happening in your life and what you think should be happening in your life. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. If that's not where you want to be, it's because there's not enough difference in what's happening in your life and where you think, what you think should be happening in your life. You have to raise that bar so your subconscious mind can meet you there. It's so important. And I think that's where our energy, it just is subpar. We find ourselves bored, phoning it in, going through the motions, losing our joy. We can be prone to bad habits. We're trying to fill ourselves up with things. We've got to set our intention and raise the bar and believe that there's more possible for us, and hold ourselves bigger and more challenged. So this brings me to the last part of the exercise. About 10 years ago, I had an amazing creative that I followed named Ali Edwards. She did the one word movement. You've all seen it. So about for 10 years now, I've been picking that one word for the year. It's that word that you want to see change in your life for the next year, that you need to work on. And I would attach that word to my thoughts. I'd pray over it. I would keep it close by all year long. It was a special process for me. And it was something that I've seen so many people adopt. And it works. It really helps you set that intention. So I was reading a really awesome book recently, came across. They had a chapter on clarity, and he suggested picking 3 words. So I want us to do that. I want us to, I already talked about the first 2 steps. This is the third. I want you to pick 3 words that you need to remember for 2018 that you need to implement. What 3 words would sum up your best version of your best self for your big 3 goals that you need reminding of? And then I want you to choose those and go a step further. And I want you to put those in your alarm on your phone to come every day. Whatever hour in the day that you might need it the most, or maybe a couple times a day, it makes all the difference, guys, to remind yourself to stop and focus on your purpose, focus on on the negative tapes. I use my little rubber band, little ponytail holder. I wear this, and every time I have certain strongholds that come over me every day, it's happened forever. It's those those demons that I have to replay tapes and have new positive affirmations, which Lee's about to talk about, that I have to tell myself, change your thinking, change the tapes. So that's just another way of doing that. And so tomorrow I'm going to put this on PFDT for a fun little exercise for all of us to do. And I want you guys to give me your 3 words by Friday evening. If you're on this WOW Zoom, comment along with your 3 words. I'm going to give you 2 entries for a fun little prize. Okay, so this is just a great way. I want to hear what your 3 words are. I want to have you do this exercise because I think it's so important before we dig in on goals. And I hope it's giving you a different way to look at goal setting. There isn't much power in writing it down if you don't have some power and vision behind it. So with that said, Lee, I'm going to pass it on to you. I'm going to stop share. She is going to talk about one of my favorite tools with a little twist. So I'm going to pass it on to her.
Well, happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2018. New year, new you, right? Well, that's the deal. If we don't change our thinking, if we don't change our tapes, there ain't no you, new you. You got a new year, but it's going to be the same you next year, right? I mean, we're always making the same resolutions. We're always trying to make the same intentions, yet we still haven't changed that thinking. We haven't changed those tapes. Never going to happen, y'all. We got to change that fixed mindset to that growth mindset. And since being in Plexus, I've learned so much, development, personal development. Krista and I talk about that all the time. There's so many changes, but the changes that we've seen in ourselves and even our kids have been amazing. I know Krista writes positive affirmations and has those on her kids' mirror. I'll tell you why I haven't in a moment. But, we've all learned that if you say positive things to yourself, positive affirmations, and those are basically things that you're saying to yourself that you want to be true in your life, or you want to believe, or you want to think. Basically, they're positive seeds. And if you plant your brain with positive seeds, then you're going to reap this harvest of change and growth and good things, right? Well, if it were that easy, we would all be having these huge gains. We would all be where we want to be. And there is a reason that there's just a missing piece. And I'm going to talk about that missing piece tonight. But let me give you an example first. So let's just say, there's nobody on this team call tonight that doesn't want more money, right? So let's just say that you want to have more money. You have attended seminars, you've listened to blogs, you've read books, you are saying all these positive affirmations to help you earn more money. But maybe you grew up in a house that, had a lack of money. Maybe you've been living paycheck to paycheck for all your life, or the last few years, or starting to be like that now. You have this subconscious, unconscious mind that says, I don't have enough money. Even though you're saying, I am going to have more money. Yet that subconscious mind is so strong, y'all, that you can't even believe your own affirmation that you wrote for yourself, that you said, I am going to believe. So let's just practice this. We're all muted, but you can just say it. I love it if, some of your husbands are sitting right there. That's going to be funny. But I just want you to say, I am rich. All right, say that now. Okay, I saw y'all. I didn't hear you, but I saw y'all. All right, so now this time I'm going to watch y'all, and I want you to say it with like a lot of expression. I mean it like, I am rich. All right, let me see y'all say it. Oh, I see it. Joan, that was good. All right. So my question to you is, you're still saying, yeah, right. I mean, do you feel any more rich after saying those 2 positive affirmations? And I know it doesn't happen in two times, but the thing is that there is a missing piece. And let me share that missing piece with you. So that missing piece, that is your belief gap right here, okay? Jennifer, can you see? Thumbs up. Can you see my screen? Okay. So basically, just like JW was saying, you know, it's a difference between where you are now and where you want to be. You've got to change that difference. Where you are right now is your current perceived reality. To get over to that where you want to be, your NDR, your new desired reality, you've got to figure out how to bridge this belief gap, guys. That's the problem. So let me ask you this question. What are you going to do to bridge this belief gap? All right, did you see what I just did right there? I just asked you a question. Probably there's something happening in your mind right now where you're kind of thinking about some answers. Guys, that's what our human brain is meant to do. Our human thought is the process of asking and searching for answers to questions. Guys, we're wired that way. That's just what we do. If I ask you, why is the sky blue, you're going to try to think of some answers. I mean, that is just the way we're wired, y'all. So let me just say that every problem that you face is just simply a question that you haven't answered yet. I want you to think about problems like that. Let's look at some major problems that pretty much all of us can say at one time or another maybe we've had in common. Problem is money. But if you turn it around, instead of focusing on all the issues and the problems, and you ask yourself a question like, how can I make money without sacrificing my family values and freedom? You know, that kind of takes out some of the stress. It just changes the way you think of a problem. It makes it look like I am able to come up with answers. The problem of weight. How can I lose weight and still enjoy the foods that I want? I can tell you right now, we all know the things to do. We just may not do them. But if you ask it in a question, you automatically start thinking of things that you can do. You know the answers, y'all. Business. How can I grow my business and attract customers? So basically, y'all, when you ask yourself questions, then your mind just automatically starts to think, okay? Your affirmations, your statements, a lot of times those are in your 10% conscious brain. 10% of that, y'all, the stuff that we say and what we believe, that 90% unconscious, and that is so strong, so strong. Your mind has this automatic search function. Psychologists call this the embedded presupposition factor, okay? That basically just means if a question is asked to you, you automatically want to try to answer it, okay? Now, but our minds also have this negative reflection in our subconscious mind. So you have to ask yourself positive questions, empowering questions. If you ask yourself disempowering questions and you ask yourself negative questions, you're going to get negative results, okay? So what's the difference in empowering questions and disempowering questions? Well, empowering questions are going to focus on what you can do, what you are, what you already have. Disempowering is going to focus on what you can't do, what you already aren't, what you're not going to be, what you don't have, and you know it leaves a horrible taste in your mouth. And there's not one person on here that can't say they've thought either these that I've listed or some other disempowering questions. You may not have said them out loud, but you thought them. Why don't I get the breaks that other people get? Why am I so broke? Why am I so fat? Why am I so lonely? Why do I not have discipline? Why can't I have control? Why can't I stay consistent? Those are all things that you have asked yourself negatively. Guess what, guys? You're going to get a negative answer. Your mind is going to answer that question, but if you answer in ask in a negative way, you're going to give it a negative answer. That's just how we're wired. So let's turn some of those empowering questions around. Guys, that's what this is called, affirmations, okay? Not affirmations, affirmations. You may be hearing a lot about this. This is kind of a buzzword going around. Krista said she heard Kristen Abart. She listened to her video on the belief group that's going on with Jen Hawkins right now. So if you see this word again, you'll know what that means. That's just turning around. Oh, look, I have a little turquoise quotation mark. All right, anyway, how come I never get the breaks other people get? Change that to, why am I so lucky? Your mind is going to start thinking of other things, that why you became so lucky. I mean, there's not really such thing as luck, right? You have to work for all of those things. And then, yes, people that work do get lucky, right? Instead of asking, why am I so fat? Ask yourself, why is this so easy for me to lose weight? Guys, we know what to do. If you turn it around to make it positive, why is this so easy? I mean, today I did so good, but you should have seen me last week at the ski trip. You know, I know that I can do this. I'm asking my Krista, she's muted. Why is it so easy for me to lose weight? I can do this, you know? So basically, let me just stop my share and just my box real quick. But, you know, Jennifer says, you know, you've got to reset your thermostat, reset your energy, raise your expectations. I just want you to change a shift in your mindset. So instead of saying your positive affirmations, I am skinny, change it to, why is it so easy for me to lose weight? Do you see how positive that is? And how and I know you yellows out there and your greens, I know y'all just want to like help yourself and help other people and just have answers for everything. This could be your breakthrough, okay? I was reading this book, The Secret Code of Success, okay? This is a really, really good book. And I bought it in September or October. I think Krista and I both ordered it, and we kind of moved it to the side. And then my business coach challenged me to read this up to chapter 5. And I challenged him to read The Compound Effect because he had not. So we are having our own little separate book clubs together. But when I got to chapter 4 and it started talking about affirmations and why affirmations, you just didn't have that belief, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Because I remember Krista saying, you know, well, I've really been doing my positive affirmations. I've been doing so good, and I can show you some things that are happening different in my kids' lives. And I believe those things. But for me, I was having this unconscious coming from nowhere, that 90% of my brain was feeling funny just saying it out loud. And that chapter really sparked my interest. And I even ordered the book Affirmations by the same author, Noah St. John. So guys, that's just what I challenge you to do. I have a couple of pieces of homework for you, and we're going to turn it over to Krista. Just 2 pieces of homework, and you don't have to post this. I'm not going to ask you to post this like Jennifer is, but you know, if you don't do it, you're not going to grow, okay? So I want you to do this. I want you to write down 5 of your disempowering questions that you've asked yourself. And I want you to try to turn those around to positive affirmations. Make those empowering questions that you are asking yourself, okay? Maybe when you find yourself, you do that rubber band trick, you know, that Jennifer does. And then the second thing is, those of you that have positive affirmations already, I mean, I kind of get to start from scratch, because I'm not sure my positive affirmations were so set in stone that I have any really to redo, because I just had a huge subconscious mind holding me back. But take your current affirmations and rewrite them to a question, okay? If you need more information, both of these books, The Secret Code of Success and Affirmations, can be bought on Amazon. Have them there in 2 days, Amazon Prime. And this book gives you example after example of 13-year-old kids to business owners of how they turned their thinking around. It will tell you how to form your affirmations, okay? So that's just a new twist on some things for this new year, that maybe if something wasn't working for you, you can try something else. All right, Krista.
All right, guys, how are you all? And it's, you know, what's crazy to me is that you know, we each had our topic that we were going to talk over, but we really didn't share exactly what we were going to say. And everything has built off of each other. And it's crazy how, to me, that Jennifer started with, you know, what you want, you got to put out there. You got to turn on your thermostat, Lee's talking about affirmations. And it's just, I'm kind of that piece that's kind of hopefully tie us all together, but in a very way that I did not expect it to happen. So, we were driving back home yesterday, and it was 900 miles from our ski trip, and I was reflecting on 2017 because I wanted to grade myself. I wanted to, like Jennifer was saying, I wanted to reflect back on how was my spiritual walk? What did I do with my kids? How was my business? And I was reflecting all these things, and so many of my areas of my life have improved drastically, drastically. But then there's another piece of the area of my life that kind of slid. I kind of had some backslide a little bit. And, last year in January, we started off the year with the compound effect. And that's what we were all full force with. And we were so taken by that. And we were like, heck yeah, it's the little changes every single day, going. And that is great. But what you guys have probably figured out about me by now is that I'm that girl that is 110% on, or I'm 110% off. Now, over the last few years, when I get off, I'm about 90% off, and I can come back real quick. But y'all, I used to be off for like a year. I mean, it was bad. Now I get off for maybe a week, months, but not as long. And so I was thinking about my year, and I try to think of it in quarters. And I had so many things I wanted to change about myself because I wanted to be new and improved. 2017, I was going to be new. And I overloaded and overwhelmed my little brain because of my affirmations, my reflections. Like, I wanted to just be a brand new me. And I had been putting these thoughts and things in my mind for 40 years, but you can't drop every habit you've had and start fresh. So I did great, y'all. I rocked it. June, July, I was doing great. I was so proud of myself. I started affirmations in the third quarter of the year. Well, then guess what? October hits. And all these little things that I was doing every single day that I didn't realize added up were adding up. Every single night I was making a to-do list. Every single morning I was listening to my affirmations. Every single day I was reading my devotional. Like, I was doing all of these things. And then it's kind of like I get cocky or something. I don't know. My school psychologist down there, Joanne, you can tell me what it is. I don't know why I do that, but I sabotage myself. Like, things were going so great. And then all of a sudden, it's like my subconscious mind has to put on the brakes and go, whoa, you can't be successful like this, Krista. What are you thinking? Y'all, I quit writing my to-do list down. This is a beginning, maybe middle of October. I didn't write my to-do list down every night. I would do it every other day. My calendar that I do, my follow-up calendar, I filled it out in November, but I'm not sure I exactly followed it because I didn't do my to-do list at night. And then in December, I didn't even make a calendar. Now, I'm being honest with y'all right here. November and December of my business, now that doesn't count what I kind of had slip up in my personal life, but with my business, these were the first 2 months in 3.5 years that I did not have over 1,000 PV. So I want you guys to go back and think back to what I told you I stopped doing in October. In October, I stopped writing my to-do list. It was that little tiny compound effect. Y'all, that is a tiny thing that takes 5 minutes every night. So because I stopped writing my to-do list, I stopped filling out a calendar. Because I quit filling out a calendar, I quit reaching out. Because I quit reaching out, people dropped off. They fell off. Y'all, whose fault is that? That's me. And y'all, that's just one piece of my life. A couple of other ones fell, but I'm not going to tell y'all all of them that fell. I don't want you to think I'm a complete failure. But it's seriously, I did. And so I, for the first time, I was riding high on life. I felt like an amazing rock star. And I think that's what it is. I was like, I'm a rock star. I've got this down. And you may not think I'm a rock star, and that's fine. But in my head, I'm like, heck yeah, I've got all this going on. And then it just stops. And everything, it's like the whole world just crashed. It was like 9 months, 10 months of the whole year is gone. And it was like I didn't do, it's kind of all washed away. So my whole point is, I had so many plans in January that I wanted to get done and to get out. And I overloaded myself. And so this year, I'm going to look at things a little bit differently because I know that October is the time of year that we all get busy. It's the beginning of the holidays. It's when stress starts happening. But if I would have been proficient in more areas instead of trying to be so perfect, that maybe I would have continued on in October, November, and December, and I wouldn't be starting over with some things in January. And so I want you guys to think right now, and I want you to choose 12 things that you want to grow in 2018. And guys, this works with everything you guys, we've all said too. But I want you, this is a little bit different. So I want you to think of 12 things that you want to grow in 2018. Now here's an example. I'm going to tell you, well, let me tell you this, and then I'll tell you how I'm going to make it work. So when you pick those 12 things, I want you to choose the most important thing that you want to start changing. And I want you to write January by that. And you're going to focus solely on that for the month of January. That's it. So what I'm going to start doing in January is my to-do list and my calendar. That's the sole thing I'm focusing on in January. That's it. Okay, now, will I start doing some other things? Maybe, but I'm not going to be disappointed or let down in myself if I don't do these other things. But these are the 2 things I'm going to do. So y'all, in 30 days, that's going to be a habit, right? So in February, when February comes, I might throw in that I want to start exercising 5 days a week, because currently right now I'm exercising 3. So February, I'm adding that I want to make it 5. Okay, so that gives me time in January. I've got this going in January. February, I'm going to do this. Okay, then I want you to find the 3rd most important thing to you, and I want you to write March by that. So what you're going to do is you're going to plan out your year for 12 months. You're not going to be overwhelmed. Okay, if you can focus 30 days on being proficient, not perfect, proficient, and proficient means doing it 90% of the time. If you can be proficient in 30 days on one aspect, can you imagine on December 31st of 2018, you guys are going to be amazed at what you can do. You're going to have 12 things that you've wanted to do. You probably would have gone full force in January, and you would have quit by July or June. And maybe you don't, but that's just me. I can hit the gates running, and then I slack off. So write your 12 things down. I want you to put a month by each one, and I want you to check it off as you do it, and just focus on that one thing. And if we do that, can you imagine we do that this year? And then think about next year, you do 12 more, because it becomes a habit after 30 days. You're going to be in the groove. You're going to be in, kind of in the movement. You're going to have 12 new practices. So that's just kind of what I wanted to leave you guys with. Just that piece, because some of you you may be way more organized than I am, but those little pieces, I just want you to remember they do add up. I don't want you to go full force into something. Just take it little pieces at a time. Give yourself grace. And just kind of, plan it out, and just be ready to rock 2018. So I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add. I just want to say thank you. First of all, I feel pretty confident. I'm pretty excited that this is one of the first Zooms we've done. It was 32 minutes. I'm pretty proud of that. Y'all, 2018 is going to be a good year. Y'all get excited. We stayed to our time.
We talked fast.
And I'm sorry that I'm echoing. I'm in my husband's office building, and there's nothing in here but me. So I just am excited. We thank y'all for hopping on. We know it's crazy. Everybody's kind of getting back in school this week, and getting back into routine. But if you promise that you will do some of these things, I promise your 2018 is going to be amazing. I'm going to hold myself accountable to it, and I want you to hold yourself accountable to it. Write your 12 days out, what you're going to do, and send it to your sponsor, or send it to one of your best friends and help them hold you accountable. And it doesn't just have to be your business. It can be your personal life. It can be, you can mix it all in. So.
Yeah. And I just want to say, let the process be your focus, guys. That end goal is not the point. It's what you're learning while you're going through all of this. Just like Krista said, when she fell down, gets off track, we're all going to do that. But all the things she's learned in those interims, like, she applies it to every area of her life. We all do. Like, we're learning so much. Don't grade yourself on if you haven't hit that golden plexus, you haven't hit your weight loss goal, you haven't. It's the process in what you're learning. You're getting stronger. You get back up. You're applying all the things, all the personal growth from all of this. It matters, and it makes such a difference. And we've seen it personally. We've been doing this for 4 years, and we've seen it in y'all, so many of you, and it works, and it's worth it. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't hit that goal. Carry it over to 2018.
Well, and I love too that Jennifer, when you reached out to us and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing new year, new spin on things. Each of us already had exactly what we wanted to talk about. So we did not converse about any of these. And it's funny how all of us somehow talked about that subconscious and, the fact that we all kind of like spoke on a topic that was our weakness, you know, and that something, this is what we're laying it out there. You know, we want you to hold us accountable in changing these things and changing your way of thinking. And, you know, I got excited about both of y'all's homework, you know, so, you know, there's so many of these things, you know, maybe make affirmations one of your months. You know, just, you know, those goals, make those one of your months, you know. Actually, when you're writing the goals, those can probably fall into months, you know. So anyway, I just thought this was a fun little Zoom. And my gosh, we're not going to let it stay at 32 minutes. We got to just keep talking.
We can keep talking.
We keep talking, y'all. But we're done. We're done. So
we're done. All right. Well, thank y'all for taking time out. And we just are so blessed by all of you and excited for 2018. This is going to be an amazing year. I feel it. I feel it for all of us. And I'm just excited to implement this stuff. Let's actually take what we've heard tonight and do it. Let's do it and hold each other accountable. All right.
If you haven't registered for Super Saturday, do it. I don't even know what it is, but I am seeing on people's pages are like, just get registered. Just trust me. So I don't even know what that means, but I'm registered, and I'm registering my husband. I don't know why, you know, but I'm doing it.
Even if you're watching it at someone's house, you need to register so you can get this like amazing deal.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
That's the Saturday.
All right. Well, y'all have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all very soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you all.